Hello, Phil from the future here. The second half of this league is wild. If you are on a limited time budget, consider rounds 4 and 5 directly, rather than watching the video in order. Round 4 features a deck from this channel recently. A fan is piloting the Raffle Stomp Shardless Agent Birthing Ritual Cascade deck. And round 5 features an absolutely insane nut draw versus a very cool Umori deck. Enjoy the show. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. And this is a madness pile that comes to us from Dalton. So specifically, Dalton wants to see Firestorm pop off. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you discard X cards and Firestorm deals X damage of each of X targets. So this can be a board wipe that also goes to your opponent's face that allows you to cheat in a bunch of madness creatures. Now, I'm gonna level with you. I think Dalton's deck is trying to do too much, and it is not good enough at anything to be successful. And I'm just gonna be blunt here, because I don't want to go into this league trying to show off Firestorm and then have the deck fizzle everywhere. Why do I think this deck is trying to do too much? Well, number one, it is trying to be this discard deck while only having two different creatures with madness. We don't see anything like the Anji's Ravagers here to support this. And the hollow ones have some synergy with Firestorm, but that's it. There's no Burning Inquiries here. There's no Faithless Looting here. And as far as the madness creatures go, how do you discard that? The answer is exactly Firestorm. There's nothing else like Lion's Eye Diamond here to make you pop off. So you are trying to be a discard deck without enough support. You are trying to be a deck that wants to discard your entire hand to Firestorm, but also play a 4-drop creature? You are trying to be a 1-ring deck, but you have no Ancient Tombs and no fast mana? You are trying to be an Urza's Saga deck, but you don't have any Ancient Tombs to activate it earlier? You don't have something like Lion's Eye Diamond to fish up that could be really synergistic with the Madness plan? And I think trying to be the Madness Discard Tarmogoyf 1-ring Urza's Saga deck all at the same time is a little bit much. Now, I do want to put my money where my mouth is, and I want to see this in action before I start taking my surgeon's tools and trying to fix this. So let's hop into the tournament practice room. So here is our first opening hand. We can put a hollow one into play, maybe, and certainly not cast these copies of the 1-ring. So I could easily discard 2 cards to Firestorm no matter what by targeting my opponent and myself with it to discard 2 cards. That would reduce Hollow 1's cost to 1, which isn't happening on turn 1. It could happen at turn 2 at the earliest. So this hand doesn't do anything. Let's mulligan it. The next hand here also does nothing. We can cast a Blazing Rootwalla on 1, play an Urza Saga on 2, activate it on turn 3. We're pitching a Fury Pyrogoyf thing along the way. This is not exciting either. The third hand has the same problem as the first one in that we could maybe put a hollow one into play, but this is very unexciting. I would mulligan this again. And now we're just fully at the point where we wouldn't have a keepable hand, and I think I would just fully concede there. Let's do another one of those. So here is a hand that could play a Firestorm on turn 1, make 2 madness creatures. I don't think making 2 1/1s on turn 1, even if you can grow one of them, is super, super impressive if it's coming at the cost. Yeah, this... I put 2 power into play and funnel my mana the rest of the game into 1 Rootwalla. That's just not great. So let's keep this for the sake of argument. And I don't believe that Magic Online is actually going to mechanically let me Firestorm with 2 targets. Yeah, it won't. So I cast a Firestorm. I discard both of these. I have 2 power in play. I end my turn. I go to my next turn. On turn 2, I attack for 4. If my opponent plays a creature, I Fury it. On the third turn, I attack for 4 again. I don't have another reasonable game action. This doesn't feel like it's winning games of Magic here. Let's do this one more time. Alright, opening hand. Can't cast the One Ring, has no synergies with Rootwalla, can't cast Pyrogoyf. Mulligan. No. Also no. Alright. I think at this point, I have probably proven that this deck as is a little bit too much of a mess to be playable and consistent. So I'm gonna take maybe half an hour here, do some research on Madness decks, and we're gonna try to preserve some of the ideas here. We certainly cannot do all of these things that Dalton wants to do at the same time. It simply is too much. So the thing that I'm going to try to keep and make work is Firestorm, because this deck list was submitted as Firestorm Madness. So let's see what I can do. All right. Here's what I've come up with. Hobgoblin, or its legally distinct Magic Online version, I'm just going to call it Hobgoblin, is one of the highest damage output things that we could do while dumping our hand. Playing this, dumping 4 cards with Firestorm, and maybe getting some Madness value on top of that, puts our opponent in an incredibly bad position. And Marauding Mako is one of the other cards that really, really can pump up our squad while doing Firestorm crimes. So by adding Burning Inquiry and Faithless Looting into the deck, we can actually make the Rootwallas good. The slots are tight here. Vengevine is another thing that conceptually could work with this deck. I may have just a little bit too much discard right now. I think the Lion's Eye Diamonds are very good to enable this. And I'm going to try to keep a couple of Urza's Sagas in the deck to stay a little bit closer to the initial vision. And I have moved the One Ring to the sideboard. I think it's too slow for game 1, even with a little bit of acceleration. But when we know we're playing against some slow, dirtily Quantum Riddler up the beanstalk style deck, having this so that we can make a wave 2 sounds perfectly reasonable to me. So let's do our due diligence here. Let's goldfish a couple of hands and see if this is smoother or if I need to go back to the drawing board again. First opening hand is a gamble that I don't know that I would keep on 7, but is probably fine. Second opening hand I think I would keep. And it's just like, how crazy do I go with these? I think I put back 1 Lotus Petal. I think I'm just going to start with regular Faithless Looting. That 100, yeah, % of the time gets me something in play. Now it's more interesting. Let's discard a Lotus Petal. Do this. Play a Shark. And on turn 2, we can Burning Inquiry 1 or 2 times, or maybe Firestorm, depending on what exactly happens here. I'm going to put the other land into play. Cast Burning Inquiry. Yeah, there we go. Madness that into play. Cast Burning Inquiry. I don't have an LED there, but this is fine. So this on turn 2 is attacking for 8. That is certainly better than anything we did with the previous iteration of the deck. Let's check out a couple more hands, though. Oh, we're real close here. With a thing that discards this hand goes wild, I think I have enough of those that I keep this. So I would go Taiga, Lotus Petal, Hobgoblin, only attack for 1. Alright, miss there. I think Surveil. They no to that. That's not technically a discard. I think I will just cast this. Attack for 1. Okay. Now this will be my go crazy turn. Play a land first because Anji's Ravager. Faithless Looting. discard 1 and 2, trigger these. Let's just always yield to that. Cast this. There's the shark. The shark punishes me for not having a red mana, though. So I attack for 6 here, and then I'm fine playing that out. Burning Inquiry, which is worth a ton of damage, and on top of that, I could either make an Urza Saga token or just flashback. Faithless Looting now. Discarding 2 more. Rowing more counters. Yeah, this is definitely feeling better, even if I stumbled a little bit there. Maybe that hand should have just been a mulligan. Absolutely. Yeah. So we fetch, I Taiga, I play Shark, pass, fetch again, Taiga, I play a Shark, and I think I regular Faithless Looting rather than Burning Inquiry here. Oh, nice. So discard 2 Rootwallas, trigger the Sharks, while getting 2 Rootwallas into play. This is turn 2, I attack for 3. And yeah, I Firestorm whatever creatures my opponent has, and then play Burning Inquiry and or Faithless Looting. Certainly a lethal turn. Okay. I think I now feel confident enough that I am willing to bring this into a league. So we have kept the 8 Rootwallas and the Firestorms and the Urza Sagas in the main deck from Dalton's original build. We have thrown the 1 rings into the sideboard. I've switched the Graveyard Hate to Fairy Macabre because it is a discard thing, which can just be used as a pump spell when we need it to be, with things like Hobgoblin. So let's go ahead and hop into it. You know, if you didn't play Taigas and you already owned LEDs, I suppose this deck would be pretty cheap. It's a lot of commons and uncommons, honestly. And if you need those, get them from TOAmagic.com. You know what? If you need your Lion's Eye Diamonds, get them here too. And use my promo code ThrabenU to save yourself a little bit on your order when you do. I just sleeved up a whole bunch of stuff from TOA, and I'm very, very happy with my order. All right, let's battle. All right. This is a keep. I think I go ham on turn 2 and don't even do any plays on turn 1. I think I just go land pass and turn 2, Hobgoblin, Lion's Eye Diamond, Ravager, swing for infinity damage. I could try to Faithless Looting this turn to make things better, but I don't know that that is going to be worth it. We've got Arid Mesa, maybe an energy deck. Yes. Oop. Whoa, weird lag burst there. I will Commercial District. Yeah, we're in for a little buddy. So, land drop, Hobgoblin, Lion's Eye Diamond. Yeet! I will cast this for its madness cost. I will cast this for its madness cost. I will always yield to that. Combat. In for 9 on turn 2. That's what we're talking about. Plus I get a draw 3 on my next turn, assuming this is still alive. Note that Firestorm is probably going to slap in this matchup. Alright, opponent passes the turn. I've got a couple ways that I can play this. This can't be that bad to just ramp up the damage here. Nice. Hit a lizard. Triggers. Get swole. Punchies. Alright, there's a swords. That's fine. I am still hitting for 5 this turn. Opponent down to 5 on turn 3. 4 after that fetch land. And they surveil. Hexing Squelcher to Yard. And I have 3 mana, so I can pump both of the lizards on my next turn. Oh, God. Oh, my aggro deck does not like that. Okay. That's not the greatest for me. What if we just Burning Inquiry? As a treat. Off the top. Alright, opponent's getting saucy. I think it's more that they want to make a flyer to block this in future turns than they want to be attacking right now. 19. Burning Inquiry? Alright, no fun stuff picked up there, unfortunately. So the Spirit token can block this, but then I can potentially kill a Guide of Souls. So this has to be blocked. And if my opponent doesn't block with Guide of Souls, I get some extra damage. Okay, cool. So then I will kill Guide of Souls like this. I take 2 bodies off the board, but my opponent still has a Guide of Souls and a Staff of the Storyteller. Uphill battle. Oh man. These bodies that produce multiple life gain triggers for Guide of Souls are so rough here. Oh man. And the Quarry. So that means Planeswalker immediately, which means another life immediately. And Amped Raptor. What a devastating combination. The Sand Scout is whatever, but my opponent is back up to 10 life, and my opponent now has a red creature, meaning that they can dome my Hobgoblin. I think that's all she wrote, folks. We certainly did over 20 damage there, but my opponent gained so much with double Guide of Souls. Very good proof of concept for the deck, but that was rough. I don't think I am coming back from this now. GG. I will probably board in some extra removal. Killing Guide of Souls feels like it matters a lot. Feels kind of like these are how I do my damage rather than the Rootwallas. Do I do the One Ring here? Like, attempt to slide into a control roll with Lightning Bolts and Firestorms and draw 3s? Do I want LED out, or is it just so good with Ravager that I keep it? Maybe it's just so good with Ravager that I keep it. All right, we are in experiment mode. Yes, absolutely. I think I'm going to assume that my opponent always plays a creature that I want to kill and just lead on a regular mountain, potentially saving either a Surveil land or a Point of Life. My turn 3 is probably pretty sick. Potentially double Burning Inquiry off of this. Yeah. No, you don't get to keep that. Ooh. Let's not be wastelandable here. Do a basic mountain. Send in for 1. And then hopefully Burning Inquiries just go wild. Amped Raptor. Hitting the one card I didn't want to see off Amped Raptor. Incredibly unfortunate here. Alright, let's maybe try to hit a Ravager. Nope. I now maybe hold a turn on this. I want to hit Ravager with this. Awkward. But alright. I will eat 2 damage. So if I cast Burning Inquiry, I can still hit Ravager. Let's start there. Miss also discarded my good stuff. Rough. Let's loot. Firestorm is currently not very interesting as I am down a bunch of cards. I think now I'm going to be trying to hit the One Ring. Our hand was such that we were very soft to a removal spell. And it is just very unfortunate that Amped Raptor hit. If that just hits another creature, and my opponent doesn't have a removal spell, I certainly kill them in 2 combat steps. Yep. Hate that. Feels sort of like One Ring or bust now that I'm behind. Like, I can One Ring, Fog for a turn, maybe accumulate some cards, and then Firestorm or something. Ravager is not the worst. I don't think I should have played that. No, I would need to play that land if I want to do this. Alright. So, yeah. Discard, Madness, Cast. That can hold the ground from one of these. I suspect that my opponent can just turn all of them sideways. Yeah, alright. Alright. That didn't feel like a great matchup. GG. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. Okay, opening hand looks like it has a lot of potential here. I'd like the Burning Inquiry to go right, though. Oh, are we just gonna die? Hello, Wizards of the Coast. It's me, ThrabenU. It's been a while since we last talked. Did you get my messages about how this deck fucking sucks and is not acceptable by the standards of Legacy? I feel like you didn't get my memo. Alright, so we've got some green here. Alright, let's fuck off. 4x Fairy Macabre is all we can really do here. Firestorm is not particularly useful here. Assuming that my opponent has Bridge from Below, we don't actually get to like nuke a bunch of Narcomoebas and actually stop what my opponent is doing with Firestorm. Alright. And I don't get to address like a juke plan, really. Alright, we've got something versus the graveyard stuff. We'll lose to a juke. I don't think I cast any spells immediately. It is kind of funny to Burning Inquiry and say, like, hey, good luck. But if I discard both of my fairies, I would just die. Petal. Petal. Down to 17. There is Undercity Informer. There is a Summoner's Pact. Opponent gave me a priority pass where I could Lightning Bolt there. There's another Summoner's Pact. Alright, there's the Undercity Informer. Alright, so I know that opponent has a Spirit Guide, which means that Memory's Journey is online. My opponent could... No, my opponent has cast Summoner's Pact. They're dead to that. Okay, I don't need to think about this too hard. I've made a second copy of their graveyard. So I will do the first of these, targeting Memory's Journey, and then maybe something like Poxwalkers. Alright. This is now Memory's Journey, targeting Petal Oracle. So now I will Fairy Macabre. Let's target Oracle, and then there's only one Dread Return. Target Dread Return. So those creatures hit play. Opponent can Cabal Therapy. Opponent has named Painter Servant. Not what I'm playing. And then my opponent dies to their own pact. Hey, Wizards of the Coast, do you think it's acceptable that the graveyard deck can very easily combo off through targeted graveyard hate? I lose if I do not have 2 Fairy Macabres there. Wizards, where is your comment? I just checked the last BNR update and you did not say a goddamn word about Oops All Spells. Isn't that weird? Seems weird to me. Okay. Luckily, certainly our opening hand will once again have 2 copies of Fairy Macabre of our 4 copies in our 60 card deck. Surely. Like, I could try to do Lightning Bolt or Firestorm stuff. I don't know that it's actually great. This does not have copies of Fairy Macabre. I have to mulligan. This has a copy of Fairy Macabre. I will keep. Conceptually, if I get a turn, I'm playing this, then this, and then hopefully both of those. I can't keep everything, though. I think I'm getting rid of the LED and not trying to be cute. Opponent to 17. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. Alright, there goes my fairy. Aren't we having fun? Dark Ritual. 4 mana. Spy. I believe that was 3 protected turn 1 attempts in a row. Cool. Magic the Gathering. This is what we all came for. Okay, what does this hand do exactly? I go land drop Lotus Petal, Hobgoblin, and then hope to Firestorm. A looting effect is insane, a shark is insane, a Ravager is an insane draw. Is it basically any non-land card? Everything, oh, well, not this. This stuff probably makes the hand better. The issue here is that a single removal spell is kind of spooky. It's possible this one is a mulligan. We are playing against Show and Tell. An opponent forced my initial creature. That's not great, and Firestorm is also not going to be good in this matchup. Our YOLO is unsuccessful. In for this, do I like play around a Daze or something here? I don't think so. I think I just need to see what happens. It is the Daze. I could pay. Hope to hit a Ravager. I'm in. Ravager, 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 Ravager. Opponent's now going to look for another answer. Even just hitting a lizard here so that I can attack with something is fine. Looting? Fuck. Alright. Well, I have made my opponent discard lands. That may be worth something. Perhaps not as much as I want. Alright, lizard, you were one away from where I wanted you to be, but I am glad you're here. Opponent can now fetch a surveil land. And says no to a land. Okay, so I made them discard lands, but they just had more. Unfortunate for me. Alright, lizard. Me and you versus the world. In for 3, opponent to 15. They had so much land, in fact. That's discarding 2 lands, hitting 3 land drops in a row. There's a sneak attack. Life's bad. Get in there. 12. Notably, even if I play a Lotus Petal play around the days earlier, there just wasn't shit in the top half of my deck here. Alright, top quarter, to be fair. Alright, there's an Atraxa. I honestly just think the 7 life alone beats me. Like, my opponent gets 2 cantrips out of this. Gaining 7 life when I am this far behind is already devastating. So I suspect that I've lost. I could, Burning Inquiry into some crazy shit and maybe come back a little bit. But, this life gain's rough. Let's surveil. See if it's worth conceding now. Great. In for 3. Opponent to 15. I am dead to an Emrakul, and probably effectively dead to another Atraxa. There's a Brainstorm. A little weird to play the mountain first. I don't think that sort of optimization is going to be the deal breaker here. I think my opponent either finds a giant creature or doesn't. There's a giant creature. I am literally dead to Emrakul. GG. I get some Pyroblasts to help here. Probably in place of Firestorm. It's just not killing anything from my opponent's side, so the best it's doing is sending some damage at face. My opponent's not giving me any extra targets for it. I'm going to play at least one One Ring or Lightning Bolt to just fill slots. Aggro plan? Aggro plan. Legacy's so fast right now with Storm and Oops and the new Painter Sewer Valence deck. Trying to cast a turn 3 One Ring is not ideal. I could make 3 lizards on turn 1. I think I'm gonna strive to do better than that. It's a shame, this one has 2 Pyroblasts, but just does not have the mana to cast it. Alright, turn 1. Mountain, Petal, Lizard, LED, Ravager. I'm only really discarding 1 card here. I'm actually not discarding any cards because I have to put one of these back. Alright, LED. There might be a timeline where I don't do Blazing Rootwalla immediately, and I instead hardcast the Ravager. And it's do I want to keep LED or do I want to keep Lotus Petals? I think I want to keep Lotus Petals. Cast. And cast. No Force of Will, please. The single pieces of interaction are so devastating versus this deck. Having the Shark or the Hobgoblin or the Ravager stopped is devastating. Opponent just passes. Go, Lizard, go. Opponent to 16. Oh, I'm not going to have a chance to draw a Pyroblast. Okay, it's stock up rather than show and tell directly. That's good in that I'm not dead, but bad in that stock up is kind of crazy. Lotus Petal comes down. End of turn. Let's try to find something reasonable. Mountain is not it. Alright. Lizard. In for 3. I'm going to hold this as something we can potentially loot away. I suspect that I'm going to die this turn. My opponent just cast a stock up. I don't have a counterspell. Yep. There's an Atraxa, which will be backed by Force of Will. I'm comfortable conceding there. We are not beating that Atraxa. Not when backed by Force of Will, so that Pyroblast can't be a reasonable take. GG. Alrighty, opening hand here doesn't really do anything. We will mulligan. Second hand's not great. The Shark has potential. This may be the sort of game where I settle into a slower Urza Saga value-oriented play pattern until I draw something that makes his hand pop off. I suspect that I need to do Taiga as my land drop on turn 1, so that I can play both of these off Taiga while dropping Urza's Saga. And opponent is a supporter of the channel. So thank you for your support. And now, please die to a Shark Pirate. Oh, Regardless Agent Birthing Ritual. I just recorded this yesterday. Oh shit. This is gonna be fucking justice. I'm going to get my ass beat so hard by this Birthing Ritual. It's not even funny. I'm going to let my opponent enjoy this. Regardless Agent gets sacrificed. Fuck. Fuck. Oh my god. Help. I need the text of Overwhelming Splendor. It shuts off all activated abilities, right? Meaning Urza's Saga is not live. Enchanted player can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. Oh god. I'm going to use the fetch land while it still produces mana, I guess. Okay. So this is the card I need. No. I just need to put counters on this. So let's say no to that. I guess I'll put the lizard into play, question mark? But the Rector getting Overwhelming Splendor feels unbeatable. I had Blood Moons in the first draft of this sideboard. I'm so sad that I don't have them in the final draft, because that's what I need to beat this deck. Alright, Academy Rector dies. Yeah. I'm fully dead at this point. Like, these abilities are off. I will tap out here. Urza Saga doesn't work either. Absolutely devastating. Alright, what is my plan? Pivot to One Ring? Assume that the games go longer? Go Firestorm out, One Ring in? Pyroblast can counter Shardless Agent, but doesn't actually address the problematic Birthing Ritual. Lightning Bolt is a little sus. It can remove some of the creatures to stop them from being sacrificed to Birthing Ritual, but you don't want to remove a Rector with a Lightning Bolt. That is not going to result in you having a good time. So I think I fully need to be on do something wild with one of these creatures. I can play Looting on turn 1 and put 2 lizards into play. And assume that the hand gets better with a Looting. That's like fine. I guess if I hit... I guess I have a ton of hits. Especially Lion's Eye Diamond. Lion's Eye Diamond allowing me to put this into play on turn 1 would be pretty wild. And Lotus Petal also allows me to do it. Alright. Lizard. Those were not the hits that I was hoping for, though. I'll still have this in graveyard for later. Later is scary, though. Basic Plains? Alright. I am fine trying to find LED here. Fail? Found a shark, though. I think I will go discard, madness this into play, colored mana source, cast shark. I am probably attacking for a large amount of damage next turn, but I didn't do anything unfair. And there's a decent chance that I'm going to be staring down an initiative creature or a Yojimbo or whatever this turn. Alright, Ancient Tomb. It is Brutal Cathar. That's certainly fine. I can play Burning Inquiry, and it usually discards the Ravager. I think what I'm going to do is land drop, send all of these creatures in. They really can't be blocked, or I just grow the creature and get this back. I'm wrong. Ooh, that's reasonable. That makes me spend 2 mana. Nope. Okay. Opponent came to the same conclusion I did. I'm going to believe. I'm going to believe in the deck. The deck would not betray me, right? Just full disclosure here, I think individual points of damage matter a lot, which is why I'm going to make the riskier play here. Oh, wait, after I use this to pump, I can't Burning Inquiry and do the thing. Whoops. Okay, that was just wrong. See what happens here. Oop, that's green mana. But I did just misplay. Alright, hit a lizard. The Urza Saga not being a red source, slightly annoying here. This Urza Saga might be working towards an LED that frees this card from my hand. And it is possible that this will end up flipping into a first striker, which is better versus the lizards. Opponent does have an Ancient Tomb and a Cavern. Oh, I've never seen that Art of Clarion Conqueror before. That's kind of sick. Opponent to 9. Another Brutal Cathar. Sure. Goodbye, Rootwalla. Against Brutal Cathar specifically, Firestorm would be nice. Oh no. It's here. Good news is that we had our opponent discard the Rector, so they didn't line up Birthing Ritual and Rector immediately. Okay, Birthing Ritual is a miss there. Next turn, I can get LED and play 2 Ravagers, which is reasonable. I need to cast at least 1 spell so that these don't flip. I can't attack with both Basking. I can probably attack with a Basking and a Blazing. And I'm just hoping that my opponent doesn't... Well, if my opponent blocks both, then I don't have to worry about them flipping anymore. Okay. So I would like to do 1 mana for this Shark. I'm fine turning this into a 3. I'll hit my opponent for 4 while playing the Shark. And the Shark is hopefully pretty threatening next turn. I will get a small creature back of some kind if Brutal Cathars leave play. Alright, opponent is going to intentionally flip these into 3/3 first strikers. See what happens with Birthing Ritual. Nothing. Okay. So if I get LED, LED is 3 mana, Lotus Petal is 4 mana. I can cast both of these, this would be a 3/3. If 2 of these are blocked and I just use all of my mana at lizards, I probably just win that way. I think I'm just floating a mana. There's LED. Solitude is a thing. Lotus Petal. I pump this now, it always gets blocked. I think that's fine. Send in. Alright, there's the blocks. Now I will go red mana, discard 2 cards for the Shark. I need to pump this once to present lethal. Cast this. I believe there is now only a singleton Solitude that is relevant. I don't have 2 mana for that. Okay, did not get got by the singleton Solitude. GG. Honestly, we got a little lucky there. Birthing Ritual, I believe, whiffed twice. Now that I am on the draw and things are a little slower, do I want some Firestorm or Lightning Bolt to help with Brutal Cathar specifically? And, like, do this? I'm going to say that's reasonable when I am on the draw and things are a little slower. This feels all sorts of weird. Just trying to, like, we're a Firestorm deck, we're a Lightning Bolt deck, we're a One Ring deck, we're flip-flopping rolls around a lot. Not sure if that is good or bad in terms of deck building. I'm so close here. With anything that discards cards, this becomes wild. I think I keep it. I think I keep it, play Double Shark on turn 1, and then just hope to hit a Faithless Looting, Burning Inquiry style card that makes this pop off. Like turn 1, both of these, turn 2, this. Like potentially just a turn 3 Goldfish. Second main phase Hipster Call Out, and pass turn. Hello? That is fascinating. Always this, and play the Sharks. I don't weird lag there. I don't believe that I need to make the decision immediately, but Lion's Eye Diamond, discard 4 cards, is worth 8 damage next turn. And then I can decide whether or not it's going to be worth it to play this and the land. Alright. Play a Brutal Cathar before I drop all this stuff. Like, drop all the counters onto it. Big? Fuck, it's Shardless Agent. Alright. How bad is the Birthing Ritual? Because if I can just Lightning Bolt whatever is there and attack for half of my opponent's life total, everything is fine. Trigger. It is Rector. I believe that I yeet all of the cards in my hand except for Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt Rector so that my opponent can't sack it via Birthing Ritual and just try to kill him. Alright. This is weird. Lightning Bolt Rector, holding priority, discarding my hand to LED, triggering both sharks. They are 4/4s. Opponent could pick up a Yojimbo instead here, and they do. Alright. That means that I don't attack here, but I have solved the overwhelming splendor problem, and these can get bigger in a minute. We just might need to wait out 2 turns of this nonsense. So, fog number 1. Opponent is offering the trade all day. I do not want you to sack this to Birthing Ritual and then find something else that is worse for me. And these can't attack in the short term anyway. I'm going to say that this is fine. There's a Spirit Guide into a Seasoned Dungeoneer. Not great for me. I physically can't attack due to the Yojimbo trigger on my turn. Unless I draw a land, I could pay it. It's 2, right? 2, yes. Then there's also this matter of the end of turn Birthing Ritual trigger. Oh, the Seasoned Dungeoneer is going. That's a pretty good creature, so this is likely bad for me. Oof. Oof. I mean, yeah, I will do this now. Get my shark back. Lost Well is going to be really good selection for my opponent here, because they just need to floop anything into play for Birthing Ritual purposes. I don't think my deck can beat Birthing Ritual. Not easily, anyway. Another Brutal Cathar. Rough. And Birthing Ritual triggers again. It's perfectly reasonable to keep that Brutal Cathar, but it may be that just another value-oriented trigger is worth a lot. Alright, Lizard. Get in there, bud. We are going to be relatively quickly approaching Throne of the Dead 3. Opponent is going to go ahead and goad my creature, forcing the attack. I thought that might be likely. Another initiative trigger. I'll be looking at Catacombs. They agree. I eat 2 damage. My opponent gets another end of turn Birthing Ritual trigger and has the initiative next turn. I think I'm going to let them flip their card for Birthing Ritual and then concede. Alright, nothing of note. I will tap out there. Bested by one of my own decks. That was really cool. I think that's going to be the recommended round for this video. GG. Ooh, we're going to be playing against something funky. We have an Umori the Collector deck over there. Maybe Elementals? Alright, what does my hand do? I am on the play. I don't have any discard-based synergy as of right now, but I can just play turn 1 Shark, turn 2 Ravager. On turn 3, I attack with the Ravager, discard these, get them for free. I think that's good enough to be a keep. Land drop, Shark, pass turn. I'm excited to see what my opponent is cooking. I mean, that makes sense as a land drop, right? Goblins? I need to play this and this. Then I will Firestorm for 2? No, let's do for 3. 1, 2, 3. This, discard 1, 2, 3. Done. This triggers my shark 3 times. Alright, Firestorm finally in the last round. Popping off. I have the 2 mana for the Ravager. And then I also Rootwalla. Greatness at any cost, deal 3 damage to myself. In for 4. It is turn 2. I have 4, 7, 8, 9, kind of 10, 11 power in play. That is awesome. Is this the concession point? No, we are playing Magic the Gathering. White? Hold on. Did I read this wrong? Each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type, not creature type. Okay. So it is Duders. Understood. So we are 5 color creatures. Everybody can come party. I discard my hand, draw 3 cards. 3 ancestral, kind of nice. This is representing a lot of pressure. Even more if I yeet my hand to LED. This is 3 more counters here. 1 block or 2 blocks? Opponent is going with 1 block. So this already trades here. I will pump the Lizard. Lethal? Junk my hand? Mako trigger? 13? Yeah, that is a turn 3 goldfish. Where has that been the rest of the league? GG's, that hand played out just absolutely perfectly. Alright, opponent is playing Duders. Burning Inquiry out, I think. 4x Lightning Bolts in. My opponent is going to have a lot of blockers. I could really consider dropping one of the lizards and playing 4 One Rings and just assuming that the games go longer because it's harder for me to just aggro my opponent out like I just did. And this is a way to refuel after a big firestorm. Alright, I'm in for it. Okay, my opening hand is probably fine. I could use more mana to get to the One Ring, but I can also just yeet the One Ring if it looks like the path is clear for aggro stuff. Alright, do I want to just kill the creature? I'm always fetching a mountain. I don't have green in the deck in this current configuration. I think I am going to play my shark here. I think the upside that I am capable of next turn is very, very high if I put this into play. If I miss my land drop, I can go Faithless Looting and try to do something. Yeah, alright, that's why we got Mountain. There's Ajani. That's a rather annoying card. My Lightning Bolt is probably better served on that. And more Mana Dork. Okay. I'm going to put this into play. I'm going to put this into play. I'm going to cast Faithless Looting. Discard 1 and 2. That's a 3/3. Madness this into play for free. Land drop. I'm probably going to Lightning Bolt this. I'm going to try to get the cat chump block first. Alright, there is the cat chump block. That damage can go through. Then we will Lightning Bolt your cat. And my hope is that I don't get wastelanded, and I can then draw a land, deploy the One Ring, and kind of kick things into overdrive. We are not expecting Swords to Plowshares, because my opponent just has creatures. But there could be creature-based removal, and probably is. Again, the Brutal Cathar type stuff. I don't know how rainbow this deck is, but we've seen Ignoble Hierarchs and Ajani, so... Okay, cool. Not getting wastelanded. Badger Mole Cub. Opponent didn't go for this on Wasteland. Ocelot Pride, sure. 3 mana, there's Umori to hand. Oh, there's another Wasteland. Okay, sure. This just makes things cheaper. Alright. Firestorm. That's interesting. I could wait until I have more cards. I don't think I am going to wait. I think my plan is this denies 3 mana by killing this, by making each one of these only tap for 1. I think I'm killing this and Ocelot Pride because that card is dumb if it gets out of control and I don't want my opponents gaining life. I discard 1 and 2 to make that happen, trigger my shark, and I think I just go overdrive here. I'll have to do this first. And then looting, discard, trigger this, go to combat, and just crash in for 10 damage. Sacrificing the Lotus Petal as well. Opponent is at 10. And they can play some blockers to get in the way of this shark. But if they don't have very much real removal in their deck, this shark lives here. That is another Wasteland. A new Badger Mole Cub. This is a lot of jump blocks. And then Umori comes down as a 4/5. And opponent can crash in for 3. Ravager is not good immediately, but will probably become fine. If I leave back my shark, my opponent can't attack profitably. So I guess we're chilling and we see who ends up top decking better. And I have no idea who that is going to be. Because I could just find a Firestorm, save up for a few turns, and just boom, obliterate everybody. But relatively speaking, I've seen very few cards from my opponent. We have more Badger Mole Cub. Like, no, I don't have natural order to worry about. Alright, we are chilling. A Lightning Bolt. I think I'm saving that. Opponent has some X-cost creatures. They can make some mana. What is this? You have 0 cards. Oh, that's fair. I missed that. And it's not like removing that is good because it will just come back from the bad normal cub ability. Yeah, I need like a draw 3. Yeah, if that Abundant Countryside was already in play when I kind of made my all-in decision and attacked for 10, maybe my decision was wrong. That is a 6-7. I don't know what is going to happen, but I'm going to presume that I have to make this block. Okay. Now what? Vibrance is in here. Rough. Does my opponent have Gaia's Cradle? Lazotep Quarry. So with all that mana, they can make a copy of Umori now. That's kind of sweet. I don't have priority to like bolt a Badgermole Cub. Okay, I mean I can see the writing on the wall there. My opponent's got that one. That was sweet. So now we know what's going on. I think I like my approach of like Firestorm and One Ring and Lightning Bolt. I don't think I can control the game forever without the One Ring. My opponent is just, you know, probably 24-ish lands, give or take a few, and then creatures. Wow, this hand is strong. So turn 1, Surveil land. Turn 2, 4 mana, cast the One Ring, Lion's Eye Diamond, Ravager. This is incredible. Like, this is certainly the best hand that I have drawn in the entire league, and it is not close. Oh yeah, classic. Ocelot Pride resolves. Fetch. Surveil. I'm going to yeet my hand. Let's just say no to that. Another One Ring. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. There's the One Ring. Protection from everything. There's Lion's Eye Diamond. I can discard my hand on my opponent's turn and block Ocelot Pride. That seems good. It means that if I draw a 1-mana red card off my One Ring draw, I don't deploy it. But that seems like an okay trade-off. Slightly awkward now. Alright, opponent did not even give me the opportunity. Sack. Ravager. Draw the card. It is a Lotus Petal. I call that actively good. I would like to find a removal spell for this. I think I draw now. It's a little weird with both of these at the same time. 1, 2, 3 cards. Fuck 'em. 1, 2, 3. Greatest Firestorm of all time. All 3 cats dead. Go to combat. Ancestral. Yeah. Nice. This is turn 3, so I can actually play a creature as well. What an incredible game. And now, like, I have some really interesting gameplay patterns of, like, what do I do in terms of attacking here? Like, do I draw cards with the One Ring to convert them directly into damage? Do I just discard this, draw 3, have 6 cards in hand? This is fascinating. I wish I had more games like this throughout the league. Wasteland, sure. Yeah, you can Badgermole Cub my lands. That's fine. Alright, opponent is going for mana and playing another Badgermole Cub. Okay, yeah. Seems reasonable. I'll lose a little life here. I think I'm willing to see if I can find a removal spell for one of these pre-combat so that I can keep Ravager. No, but I found a Shark. I think I'm interested in casting that. Make a land drop, since Wasteland is a thing. I think make the land drop. Send in with both. The Ravager has to attack. Bunch of triggers. Let's always yield to my 2 scaling cards. Ooh, I hit a Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt is very good here. It means that a double block on Ravager is not successful. Nice. So I just bolt one of those immediately so that I win combat here. The Badgermole Cubs are both dead. I'm fine casting this Faithless Looting now. Cool. Discard. Discard. Triggers. I think I will save the next Faithless Looting for next turn, though. Alright, opponent is at 10. And again, with Umori, there's no natural order to bail them out. Opponent is trying to fight the good fight, though. Ajani is a strong Magic the Gathering card, but they do concede there. Alright, having seen this round play out, I think I have got some thoughts for our conclusion. GG's. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. overall thoughts on the deck list. I think I improved what was originally submitted. So let's flip back to the original for a second. I think the original was a little bit too much of a mess. However, I think there's another way to build this where you keep the One Rings in the main deck and you drop maybe Basking Rootwalla main and maybe Firestorm main to play some more controlling elements. I built this as a very fast aggro deck, and if you're not trying to force Firestorm, I think you can improve this version of the deck by removing 4 Firestorms and playing 4 Hollow Ones, or like going a Vengevine route as well. I think either one of those would improve this deck greatly, not trying to force Firestorm, although I think Firestorm should be in the 75. I just think it should be in the sideboard. But I also think it is totally viable to try to do this as a one-ring control deck, kind of like we saw in the last round. When these 2 cards in the One Ring lined up, like that was incredible, and trying to make that happen more consistently might be worth it. And like you could potentially try to drop some number of these as well and just go like, I am going to get to the One Ring eventually, and fueling these is fine. The Rootwallers were definitely worth something in this league. They weren't bad, but I think they are better alongside Vengevines, which we don't have here. So Dalton, I think One Ring plus some of this discard stuff is fine. I don't know that the Urza sagas were worth it today. They were really hard to activate. I don't regret trying it as something that can tutor up LED. I think the disappearing land is just bad, and the land that doesn't produce red is bad. Because there's times where you want to go like turn 1 Shark, turn 2 Shark, and then Faithless Looting or Burning Inquiry or whatever afterwards, and Saga doesn't contribute to that. So I'd be fine pulling Saga from the deck as well. As far as the sideboard goes, I think it is reasonable. It doesn't have answers to something like an Ensnaring Bridge, and maybe your plan for that is just kill them first, idiot. Don't let them get the Ensnaring Bridge into play. But maybe you can squeeze in a Boseiju or in a Braid style card somewhere in here. I think there is room to play around with this and make something reasonable, but to cap off this video, when I did some research on Madness decks, I could not find anything from 2026. This is just a little bit of a hard sell right now, and I think the 2025 lists I found were pretty old as well. If you ask me, should you do this aggro deck, or should you just play like the Pinnacle Emissary Affinity deck that can just vomit tokens into play on turn 1 without really thinking, one of those things is just kind of cleaner than the other. But this was really fun. I did enjoy this a lot, minus the oops all round where we didn't play Magic. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and find myself some lunch, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day. See ya!